Even without a direct hit, the passenger, the front passenger, can be seriously hurt in a T-bone collision on the other side. Most folks don't realize that the average American will be in either 3 or 4 accidents over the course of their driving life, which means if you have a normal driving span, like most Americans do, you have a 99% chance of being in an accident during your lifetime. So this information is very important, not only for you, but maybe for a loved one or somebody that you know. If you are the front seat passenger and the impact is on the other side, so the impact is coming from this side, you're sitting over here, the number one thing that's going to happen to you is lateral movement. And by lateral, we mean sideways. So what's going to happen? Well, if you're sitting here, your entire spinal column is going to go this way, and likely your head is going to hit either the pillar right here on the other side, the window glass, that's also a solid object, bounce off, come forward, bounce off of the dashboard, and then it's going to go this way. So when you do that, it stretches your ligaments out. And when your ligaments get stretched out, they never, ever, ever go back into their original shape. A lot of doctors will call that hypermobility. We call it ligament laxity. And what it means is your ligaments can't do the job that God intended them to do. And when that happens, your body has to compensate. And when your body compensates, it does that by the muscles in your neck or in your knee or in your shoulder joint will take over and try to do the job that the ligaments are supposed to do. And when that happens, that causes pain and muscle fatigue. And that's why you often hear people say, my neck has never been the same since the wreck, or, I've got a wobbly knee since that wreck. The adjusters will tell you you're making that up and it's all in your head. That adjuster is a liar. That pain is in your neck, and it's genuinely in your neck, and it's a forever injury in your neck or your knee or your shoulder. So the number one thing you need to look for is lateral movement from the force of that impact punching into the driver's side. It's got to go somewhere. It goes through the car and it goes into you. So let's talk about what happens during all this lateral movement. Well, at the top of your spine, as we all know, we've got our noggin. So let's talk about what happens to our noggin. Our noggin will go sideways. And again, let me show you. You've got the pillar right here, which is very, very crucial to the way that the car is constructed. And then you've got the glass here, and your head will hit the side of that. It can go forward. It can impact right over here with the A pillar or the dashboard if there's been airbag deployment. Sometimes that happens too. And that will cause all kinds of injuries, brain bleeds and things like that. I've talked about that before. But again, your brain sits in a cup-like structure. The brain actually goes all the way down to just below your nose. And this brain will move in a way that God did not intend it to move, and it will cause microcapillaries within the brain to break and bleed. And that blood goes into the brain, and when the brain tries to heal itself, it will reabsorb that blood. And when that happens, it leaves holes in your brain just like Swiss cheese. Yes, you heard me right. Holes like Swiss cheese. Now, apart from that, there's other things that can happen. Let's talk about your jaw joint, this joint right here. You see this? This right here is a hinge. There is a pad right here, a ligament, and that's part of the jaw joint where it moves back and forth like this. This is the most used joint in the human body. Think about it. Every time you talk, when you breathe, when you chew your food, and for those of us who have significant others, they sure use it when they snore. So it's used constantly, okay? And when there's an inflammation or an injury to it or a dysregulation of the joint, you're going to feel that pain. And that pain is going to show up in many different ways. Not only is it going to show up as pain inside the jaw joint itself, it's going to show in radiating headaches that will radiate up through your brain and back around to the neck. Because remember again, when something has been dysregulated, when things aren't working like God intended them to work, the body, the muscles will try to step in and try to correct the situation. And that's why we have the tightness in the jaw, the clicking of the jaw, the freezing of the jaw. It's because of an injury and a dysregulation to the temporal mandibular joint, which, let's just be real here and just talk plain English, that's your jaw joint. And so all of these things are very, very common injuries to front seat passengers on the other side of a direct impact. But if you don't know to look for these injuries, you're not going to know to report them to the doctor. Your doctor is not going to know how to document them or to treat you for them, and you will suffer for nothing. Please don't let that happen to you. So when your body is doing all this twisting and going back and forth, it's going to go all the way over here, then it's going to come back over here. Here's what's going to happen. If you're sitting here like this, your strap is going to come across like this from your seatbelt. And when you go onto the other side, it's going to grab you and restrain you like it is supposed to do. But the problem is all that force and all that twisting is going to impact this right here, which is your rotator cuff. And all of these processes up in here are going to be compromised and painful. And you're going to know this because you're going to suddenly have trouble raising your arm like this or lifting something over your head. Most people will tell us that they noticed they were having trouble with their rotator cuff when they were in the shower and they went to shampoo their hair. They realized they could not lift their hand up to shampoo their hair. And they may not realize that that is from the twisting and the violent motion and the shoulder strap coming across, because they don't understand the impact, where it goes, and how it impacts your body. So know how you were injured, know where you were injured, and make sure that you get the correct medical treatment for the injuries that you suffered. And besides that, all of this going back and forth, our arms and our legs, we're going to try to brace ourselves. And it's not uncommon at all for somebody to reach out to try to brace themselves like this, and suddenly they'll have an issue with their wrist. They'll have a broken wrist or a bruised wrist. They can have an injury to what is called the bursa sac, which is really called your funny bone in your elbow. And you can even have deep bone bruises if your arms or legs hit structures within this car. But you may not know that, and if you don't document it, you're not going to get treated for it, and you are going to suffer for nothing, and the insurance adjuster will be glad for you to do that. Pain on the opposite side of the impact, it's still part of the crash claim, and pick up the phone and call us now and let us get you compensated for every injury that you suffered in this collision. 888, we fight.